Takulandirani ku AMTV Malawi kuchimake kwa nkhani zenizeni. Ngati nkhani imeneyo kuno kulibe, dziwani kuti nkhani imeneyo ndi yabodza.
About the area being thick and using the term, the Chichewa literal term or literal meaning, Kotani, I use Kokhwithima. Kokhwithima meant Kowirira.
So I just wanted to take you back to item number 6 on the same issue, where you're saying at approximately 35 hours, you contacted His Excellency to inform him that the MAF Tango 03 carrying the Vice President and other passengers had failed to arrive at its intended destination, and that contact with the aircraft had been lost. Can you clarify when you say it had failed? Did it attempt to arrive? Did it attempt to land? What did you mean when you say it had failed to arrive? Did it attempt to go to Mzuzu and return? Because there were statements that were made, so this is an opportunity for you to clear yourself.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, had failed to arrive at the intended destination, which means, and I'm saying it is coming from the statement, if we look at the estimated time of arrival, it was supposed to be 10:02, but at this time it had not arrived. So this is actually where the narrative is coming from, to say it had not, okay? It had not arrived at the intended destination, because at the estimated time of arrival, it was not there. And that contact with the aircraft had been lost, because several attempts were made by the towers, both at Kia and also at the Air Force headquarters. They would not actually touch base with the aircraft. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Chairperson, he hasn't answered my question yet. I'm saying the head of state at that time had informed the nation that the plane had failed to land in Mzuzu and that it was coming back. It was told to come back, to return to Lilongwe. It's on record. Now, who was telling the head of state? Who was giving this information to the head of state? Because you as the MDF commander, I thought you were the one who was updating the president regularly. Now we are telling this committee through this submission that it had failed to arrive at its intended destination and that contact with the aircraft had been lost at 10:35. Now the president went on air and said, the plane had failed to land in Mzuzu and that it had been told to come back to Lilongwe. This is where I don't get it clear. You are the same person who are giving this information to the head of state, and now you are telling us something different. Can you clarify, please, Chair Submit?
Thank you very much, Honorable Member of the committee from Zomba City West. You are right. There was that statement that came from the head of state. But when you look at the narrative that is being presented, you find that there is a mention to say the aircraft from this Para 6, that the aircraft had lost contact and had failed to land. There's also mention when it is being reported by the Air Force commander that the aircraft, I think in the first paragraph, that is it? No. Yes, where the Air Force commander was informing me, and as he was going, after he had narrated to me what he had received from his base, these two statements are almost telling: lost contact, and me directing him to say, if you reestablish contact, if you are able to establish, direct it to fly back to Lilongwe. But the same is also actually happening when the air traffic controller in Mzuzu is saying they had actually established contact at at some point, and they were reporting that there were 20 nautical miles north of Mzuzu. Now, you want to relate this to estimated time of arrival. They had not. Then, subsequently, you want to actually come up with a position to say maybe they are trying to return to Lilongwe. On the day, the weather was bad. Certainly, because they could not land, the thinking is that the only option was them to actually go to anywhere maybe they could land, or maybe return to Lilongwe appropriately, so that maybe the aircraft could land and plan otherwise. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
So you can confirm that it was you who told the president that the plane was on its way back, was told to come back to Lilongwe. You can confirm.
Me, yes. Correct, Honorable Member of the Council.
We get Zomba Tondwe, and then we go that side, Mwanza Central.
Thank you so much, Chair. Former Army Commander, I will start by probably extending the same question from Zomba City South. It is a civil aviation practice that pilots are the ones that determines decision during flight. But in this case, you, through the Air Defense General, instructed the pilots to do as per your directive. Was that not, or is it a practice in military, or that was against the civil aviation practice, in your view?
Honorable Member of the committee, I'm not sure the response that you're looking for. You are saying, you are saying the practice in aviation is for the pilot to make decisions, correct?
During
flight. You are saying, in my view, as commander, I commanded that they should actually return. I actually directed, after I was told that the aircraft was actually missing, okay, or could not be tracked. I was talking to the Air Force commander, telling him, if you and your team reestablish contact, from the narration that the weather is bad, direct maybe the aircraft to return to Lilongwe. Looking at maybe they were not going anywhere. That is where all this came from. I'm not sure if I have actually responded correctly, or maybe I misunderstood.
So let me put it clearly. Kapena ndifuse nchijewa mwina chomveka bwino. Malamulo zoyendesa ndege amanena kuti amene ali ndi mphamvu yopanga ziganizo poyendesa ndegeyo mmwamba ndi amene akuyendetsa ndegeyo. Apapa mwatiuza kunena kuti iniyo ndi amene munapereka chiganizo chonena kuti oyendetsa ndegeyo abwerere, koma iniyo simunali mu ndegemo, simaziwa zomwe zikuchitika mu ndegemo. Ndimaona ngati zimene sizikusemphana ndi malamulo, kapena poti ndi ku usilikali mumapanga mosiyana poyambirira.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member of the committee. The thinking was, the situation was not good. This is why I was advising the Air Force commander, should your people reestablish contact, direct them to fly back to Lilongwe. It was in the interest of safety. Thank you very much.
Chair, I may continue through you. Yeah, now I wanted Chair him to confirm that despite he was in the doing this in the interest of safety, yes, but I wanted him to confirm that that is against the expected standards. Is that so?
I will not take the "is that so." I want to look at it from a different perspective. The military is a different social construction or creature. and we respond according to what is obtaining on the ground. If our troops are endangered, and we know that maybe they are going to actually come, they are going to actually come into danger or a danger, then certainly we try to protect them. So this actually response or information was basically to actually prevent them from experiencing a hazard. So certainly, I don't want to actually respond in the military or in the civilian way of looking at issues, but the military way of looking at issues.
Chair.
Hence the response to say, if you reestablish, if your people reestablish contact, please direct them to return to Lilongwe.
Thanks,
Thank
Chair.
you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Now, Chair, I wanted you to take note of the time he's giving this instruction with reference to the 10:30 time given by the former witness, Honorable Kasambala. Honorable Kasambala, just for your memory, Honorable Kasambala told this House that Honorable Harry Nkandawire, rather Mr. Kasambala, told this House, this committee, that Honorable Harry Nkandawire gave them a note to indicate that the plane, the Vice President would not be coming at 10:30. That's when he advised the family. Now, I wanted you to look at this. The time lapse from the expected time of arrival and the time the minister is giving instructions. I think the time was too short, and more so for the army commander, in my view, to make such a decision when you were not in the flight. But maybe I may not continue with the same question because he has said it may be military aspects. Just for noting. Number two, Chair, assuming that is what happens in the military, then would it be wrong for me to confirm that you are the one directing, rather giving instructions at all levels, like in this case, through the General of the Air Force, you could reach out to a pilot, and yet it's the Army General that reports to you, from what you said. So I wanted to confirm that in your capacity as the Army Commander, the CDF, you also could influence decisions at different levels of the Army. Is that so?
I cannot prevent you from, could I say, mannerism, where you're saying, is that so? Because that becomes a bit discomforting. I would say, in military terms, it is good to prevent what can be prevented. So what we're trying to do is to prevent maybe a catastrophe from occurring. This is why, or the reason as to why, when the Air Force Commander was reporting, I said if contact was going to be reestablished, directed them to actually come back in the interest of safety.
Thank you so much.
Thank
My
you.
point, Chair, is I wanted this committee to note that the Army Commander had that kind of influence, just for noting as a committee, had that kind of influence at general's level, and even at people below the generals, just for noting. Number, as I wound up, Chair, I wanted to get confirmation that during the tragic moment, there were already Malawi Army soldiers in Chikangawa. Would you confirm that?
I will confirm, but I also want to come back to your statement because it's like you are finalizing or maybe pushing me to say I have influence above everybody. Yes, I was in charge. But the situation that obtained on that particular day was me trying to prevent, a catastrophe to happen. That was the reason why I was actually talking to the Air Force Commander to be able to actually relate, should they reestablish contact, please, the weather was bad. They should actually fly back to Lilongwe. So for us to actually say, let's note, the commander was able to influence everybody during the operation, I think that might be wrong.
Yeah, on the soldiers, Chair, I asked the question about during the crash of the plane. I wanted him to confirm that there were already soldiers of the Malawi Defense Force in the Chikangawa forest during this particular time.
That is correct, Honorable.
As I wind up the very last one, Chair, you are not sure of the numbers, or you can acquaint this House?
The numbers that were in Chikangawa forest are 30 plus 1 officer and 30 other ranks, and I mentioned. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Chair, the very last one is just to request the General to furnish with us with anything that would be used as evidence confirming the procurement of the Zambian helicopter, so that we close up on the assertion by the Honorable Minister of Defense who came yesterday, who gave a slightly different picture than what he said. So just wanted to request if he could provide us any kind of evidence on the same. I submit, Chair.
So the former Minister of Defense said that the Zambian Air Force was ordered to assist with the search and rescue on the 10th, and then also helped with the evacuation of the bodies on the 11th. Now, in your submission, you have clearly indicated that the Zambian Air Force was only responsible for the evacuation of the bodies. So we just wanted to be very clear on the role that the Zambian Air Force did. Did it carry out any work on the 10th, or it only assisted with the evacuation of the bodies on the 11th, so that your report is also consistent?
Thank you very much, Chair. The Zambians only arrived on the 11th in the morning. And as such, they could not actually undertake the search and rescue operations, because by the time they were preparing to proceed to the area where the disaster had transpired, the aircraft had been located at the crash site. So I want to confirm to say the Zambians did not participate in this. Although they came with an idea that they were going to assist in the search and rescue, they did not partake in that activity. What happened, we only asked them to assist us repatriate our dead back to Lilongwe. I want to confirm that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that clarification. Mwanza Central, and then there's Kasena.
Thank you very much. The president of this country, the former president of this country, Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, was on TV on 10th of June when he was updating Malawians about the incident. And in his statement, he said he directed the commander of the MDF to give him updates every 4 hours. It's on record. He made that statement. And on page 4 in your statement, you're saying the former president directed that he be kept continuously updated regarding the progress of the search and response operations. I just want us to clear that element, because when you say continuously, are you saying that every 4-hour period, or continuously as we know what continuously mean? Just to be sure whether this statement is talking about the same statement the president made.
Thank you very much, Honorable, from Mwanza Central, and it's a very good question. I think the 4-hour narration and the continuously may be two terms which can be merged. And I think they are in line with maybe was the objective of informing the nation at large. So I would want to join to say the two should be considered as part of the continuously. Although when the president was maybe talking about it, he had truncated maybe the message.
Thank you very much.
Or apportioned actually the continuous into 4-hour portions of reporting times. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General. Just to be very specific, he's the one who gave you the direction. Was the direction that you give him an update every 4 hours?
Correct, honorable member of the committee.
Thank you very much. The other question, Chair, is on the statement that General made. You made a statement on TV that efforts to identify the site or the plane was being hampered by the thick forest. I just want to find out where you got this information from. Was it from the one who was commanding the officers at Chikangawa? Because in your statement you're saying by 13:05 you had no idea. The plane has not been located. The signal has not been located. But you made a statement that Ndi Kokhwithima. So I just want to know where you got this information from.
I did not talk about that during this presentation. Can I recuse myself until I'm given an opportunity to explain where that transpired? If the committee is interested for me to answer, which will be out of context of the parameters of the terms of reference, I'm more than happy, but I should be given that permission. Because it's something that I have not talked about.
Chair, that's all from me. I had only those two questions.
General, I'm granting you permission to make this clarification because you made the statement.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Chair. I hope it's going to be off record because it's outside the terms of reference.
No, it's not off record because your summons strictly say that you must give us a testimony on events that occurred leading up to the 10th of June. And you have restricted yourself in your presentation to report all incidences and events that happened up to the 10th of June. And this happened, you made a statement on the 10th of June pertaining to this to this plane crash. So it can be off record. You have taken an oath here. Everything is being recorded. Every conversation is being recorded.
Thank you very much, Chair. There's a question actually that led to this. Number one question that came was, did you have troops in Chikangawa even before this episode of the plane crash? The answer was yes. I also want to actually take the committee to an understanding that I know Chikangawa from my experiences. I stayed in Mzuzu, the 3rd Battalion of Moyale, as a commanding officer. Over and above that, I've been training in those areas for quite a long time. But maybe to answer this question in a comprehensive manner, and exhaustively is to say this came from those that were on the ground. And this also came from the fact that those on the ground did not actually know where this aircraft had actually crashed or maybe landed at the time. And they came up with this statement and complemented my experiences that I had lived and my understanding of the nature of the ground in Chikangawa. So this came, yes, from those that were on the ground to say, you know, Chikangawa is thick. And I want to actually refresh your minds, those that have been on the ground. If you actually come from the Ruawa side and going towards Chikangawa, as you transition or transit through that area, you'll find that it's thick. I hope and I'm reliably informed that the committee was able to visit the area. My question would be, what were your experiences? I think by now, vividly, you have that understanding that that particular portion of the area is thick. And this is where my statement came from when I was talking about the area being thick and using the term, the Chichewa literal term or literal meaning, Kotani, I use Kokhwithima. Kokhwithima meant Kowirira. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Osaiwala kupanga subscribe ku channel ya AMTV Malawi.